Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know who I am, hi, my name is Sophie. I'm a university scholar at Baylor University concentrating in great text, Chinese, and art history, and I am a sophomore going on junior. One of the things that I like to do on my channel, but I haven't done in a long time, now that I think about it, is give you guys college advice. This video will most likely go out in late March, maybe early April, depending on when I actually edit and get things done. I would like to share my experience and some stuff about Baylor University, which is my home university, which I absolutely love and adore. I know when I was doing my kind of final college decisions and stuff, it can be helpful to have a student experience or a student perspective of something that I myself have lived through and can tell you guys about. I feel like on every flyer I received, every school was like, oh my gosh, we're so amazing. Did you know that we have a Quidditch team? And it's all just the same stuff after a while. Every school wants to market themselves and brand themselves really well. I totally get that, but I wanted to give you guys my kind of unfiltered experience here at Baylor. One thing I will note is that if my answers are pretty general, it's because I want to make sure that my experiences can speak to as many people as possible. So I'm involved in some kind of specific experiences, maybe related more to the humanities, but I know a lot of students aren't studying those similar things. So I want everything that I say to apply to as many people as possible. I encourage you, if you have any specific questions or comments or anything like that, please leave them in the comments. Without further ado, let's start with the pros. There are a lot of pros here for Baylor, completely honest. I absolutely love this university. I guess I should mention one thing, like conflict of interest. So, like, I work for the Baylor Honors College, but they're not sponsoring this video or anything. That would be nice. Can you imagine? This is like 100%, my opinions. And I want to start with the pros because I think they far outweigh the cons, and I kind of ruminate on the pros here at Baylor far more often than I do the cons ever. One of the first pros, I think, which is very superficial, is our campus. I really love Baylor campus. It is absolutely beautiful. It's so fun to walk around and you feel like you're at like a real university, which you obviously are because you are in fact at a university. Because campus is so wonderful, it just really gives you that college experience and vibe, and it's a lovely place to live. Very much enjoy that. Another thing that I love here are the professor-student relationships.
Child. Anyway, so
what I really enjoy about Baylor professors, particularly the ones that are in maybe smaller classes, is that they are really invested in you personally. I remember when I first came in my first semester, our history professor had her entire class and then her husband's entire political science class over to have like a New Orleans style dinner. And it was so much fun. They invited us into their home and we had our first home cooked meal in forever because we'd been having dining hall food up until then. We're not just like a number or a statistic or anything like that. They care about us and investing in us, in our future, and that I have found to be truly invaluable. Another thing I will mention is the Honors College. I know the Honors College is not for everyone, but I encourage you, if you have like a shred of intellectual curiosity, if you have any interest in like being a serious academic student here at Baylor and like have academic aspirations at the undergraduate level and beyond, I highly encourage you guys to check out the Honors College. I won't go into the details here because there are a ton of different programs and majors and opportunities that you can customize to your own experience and desires. And I work for the Honors College, so I kind of know about this stuff. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments below. I went to public high school and I didn't experience this all that often. So when I came to my first honors class, it was like the first class I ever took at Baylor, and I showed up and my professor was like, so did everyone do the reading? And everyone's like, yeah. Literally blew my mind. I was like, what is this? What school do I go to? Speaking of Honors College as well, I'd also like to plug the Honors Residential College if you're interested in living among students who care about learning and growing with one another, and also just having so much fun together in a community of people who are critical thinkers and incredible athletes and talented musicians and ridiculously amazing mathematicians and biologists and fantastic writers. This is a community that brings together students from all disciplines, cultures, beliefs, majors, areas of study, everything that you can think of under one roof, where we can have fantastic dynamic conversations with one another and just have so much fun with each other. That is like the most vast non-specific overview of the Honors College I can, but I'm trying not to like get on my soapbox here. One thing I'll note as well about Baylor is that I really like its size. Baylor is technically a medium-sized university. We have 14,000 undergraduate students, and I think it's about 16,000 total if you count graduate students, etc. You have the kind of small school experience if you really want it. I think the Honors College provides that, but you can even find that in your respective department, major, etc. here at Baylor, but with the kind of large school opportunities. So if you want to pursue scientific research, you can do that. If you want to get involved with the local community, you can do that. If you want to start a club or organization, you can do that. Intramural sports, you can do that. Club sports, you can do that. So if you want to be some type of competitive athlete, like that's absolutely a possibility for you. The clubs will just blow your mind. I remember scrolling through the Baylor Connect page, which has all of the clubs and organizations listed, and just like my eyes popping out of my head. With that also comes coursework as well. So I'm in Chinese concentration right now, and I realized that if I had gone to any other the universities that I was considering, not very many of them had those types of classes. If you want to take Swahili at Baylor, you can do that. If you want to get an entrepreneurship minor here at Baylor, you can do that to supplement your coursework. There are so many ways to make your courses and ultimately your educational experience flexible and tailored to your own interests, because Baylor offers so many of these opportunities. When you're a freshman, you don't want to come in and completely overclock yourself by joining everything, but I think if you're mindful and keep an open mind coming into school about the opportunities that you pursue, find a couple of things that you really love and want to get invested in, it's a great way to start and get connected here on campus. I love the size of Baylor. I think it really facilitates those meaningful relationships with organizations, etc. So now that we've talked about some of the great things that I really love about Baylor, I will touch on a couple of things that I consider cons. Like I said before, I think the pros far outweigh the cons, but there definitely are some cons I would like to address. I don't take this like I hate my university or there are things about it I like utterly despise. That is not the case. First and most important thing I think I'd like to bring up is Waco. For those of you who don't know, Baylor is located in Waco. The Waco metropolitan area, which includes kind of the suburbs around Waco, technically I think is like 245,000 people, which sounds like a lot, but Waco is a really weird city. Waco has a downtown, which is like a couple of streets and then an area that's like really built up and super nice, and then all around is just like destitution. Maybe destitution is too strong of a word, but Waco itself, like the city proper, which Baylor is very close to, is not the nicest city ever. There's not really a ton to do when it comes to like fun, amazing things. Like if you want to go get Ethiopian food on the weekend, like there probably isn't going to be a place to do that. If you want to have like huge, fun, dynamic, exciting city life where you can have like vibrant nightlife and a ton of fun exploring the city, I can't really do that so much. There are ways to explore the city, and there are lots of fun things to do in Waco, and you'll learn about that when you get to explore and you get involved with other organizations which will kind of take you out to do different fun things. So yes, Waco's absolutely a city you can explore, but to an extent. This more is related to my experience as a student in the Honors College. I consider myself someone pretty academically motivated, pretty academically serious. I'm like all in for the Honors College ethos. So one of the things that I've noticed is that the standards and quality of students in the Honors College and the students at Baylor are very different. And that sounds extremely judgmental, but let me just explain a little bit. I'm here to learn, I'm here to study, I'm here to gain experience, all of that. For other people, that's not really their goal in being in college, and like they'd probably tell you that. I so distinctly remember I've been in the library multiple times, like cranking out my work. I'm like in the library the fourth time that week, and it's only Thursday, and all the people behind me like, wow, I've never been to the library before, dude. This is like so cool. I should come here more often to like hang out. It frustrates me a little bit because going to college is a privilege, and that's something that I'm very aware of. So being able to go to college, being able to study at such a fantastic university as Baylor, to have all these opportunities afforded to you, and then, in my opinion, to not squander them, but not make the most of those opportunities and just kind of vibe your way through school, that just doesn't sit right with me personally. I know some people have different ideas about school. Some people have worked their butt off in high school and just kind of want to take it easy, you know, to each their own. But for me, sometimes that rankles me a little bit, that difference in the shift of culture between honors college mentality and then regular Baylor at large, or maybe the less academically motivated people here. I feel like I notice that schism a lot. Another thing to note is that Baylor is just not the most diverse school out there, just something that you guys should know before going. Some people think that it's a con that you have to take religion classes. As a Baylor student, you'll have to take 2 religion classes, which is Christian Scriptures and Christian Heritage, as well as 2 semesters of chapel. There are ways to make this better than it may sound from the beginning. The Christian Scriptures and Christian Heritage classes are taught from more of an academic and historical perspective than like a mission to convert students in any way, shape, or form. So if you're coming from a different faith background that's not Christian, then you won't be at a disadvantage in any way, shape, or form, nor are people going to try to force you to convert or anything like that. Chapel is a little bit of a different story. Chapel tried just to please everyone by being pretty neutral and lukewarm in like its worship and its speakers and whatever, and in so doing just doesn't really please anyone. If you have the opportunity to take an alternate chapel, that's especially can be done through your residential college. I know some of the residential colleges offer that. I highly encourage it. I know the HRC has its own alternate chapel, and I did that my first semester in school and really enjoyed that. And then I had to do big chapel another semester, which was thankfully cut off during COVID. It was not my favorite thing that I've ever done here. So yeah, I think there's definitely credence to the not so much a fan of chapel side of things, but there's definitely ways to mitigate that, and going with friends is one of those too. So I encourage you, if you have to take big chapel, which everyone does, I believe, for at least one semester, then yeah, go with a group of friends. It's just something you just gotta do and get over with. Same with scriptures and heritage, but I think those are a little more enjoyable. Honestly, those are the only cons that really come to mind. I drafted up a list, but as I'm sure you can tell, the cons are not as instrumental to my own college experience versus the pros. Overall, I'd like to end on this note, and a lot of this, again, stemming from my honors college experience, but I firmly believe that the education that Baylor provides is transformational in nature. Very few people know what they want to do when they're 17 years old, and it's kind of absurd that you're expected to. I have a much better idea for my next steps and then the things that I want to do in the future, and that has come directly through my coursework and the instruction and the research opportunities that I've had here at Baylor. It will really shape you and form you, and all educations will. No matter where you end up in college, you will be shaped and formed in some way by the education that you receive. But I think that Baylor really strives towards the best education that you can have, particularly through the ways that you're able to study and research and engage with the community here. And I can't speak highly enough of that. I hope I've been able to give you some type of view of Baylor. I apologize again if this information was somewhat generic, but I hope it's been able to shed a little more light about what student life is here at Baylor, how you can engage on campus, what it's like to actually be a student here, the highs and the lows. Again, I will reiterate for probably like the 50th time this video, if you guys have any specific questions or anything that I can answer, please let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to chat with you guys and then get connected. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope you all have a fantastic day and see you in the next one.